Welcome to the Reddit mic. Have you ever been in a situation where life just, throws you a complete curveball? Maybe in a relationship or with family or even something about who you are, and suddenly you think, hang on, maybe everything I thought was true isn't.
Yeah, it happens.
So today we're diving into stories about trust getting broken, people finally setting boundaries, and that amazing journey of personal growth when, they put their own well-being first. We'll be digging into situations involving things like infidelity, betrayal, manipulation. Let's dive right into the first one. We have a much younger man here, just 19.
Right, very young.
And he's in a relationship with his boss, who is 39.
20-year age gap, plus the boss-employee dynamic, that's a lot.
Yeah. He said things felt weird right from the beginning. She was constantly demanding sex, even at work, apparently.
At work, when?
And would get upset if he wasn't interested. Plus, this was his very first relationship.
Making him even more vulnerable.
Totally. That power imbalance is just so stark. She's his boss, 2 decades older, actively pursuing him, pressuring him.
Yeah.
How does that even get framed as okay, especially for someone with zero experience?
Well, that's a key insight, isn't it? His inexperience made it incredibly hard for him to see the red flags clearly. The online comments nailed it, calling it a predatory dynamic. Sometimes these things get masked as like a sugar mama situation, but it's fundamentally abusive because of that age gap and the employer-employee power difference.
It's exploitation, plain and simple.
Exactly. And it shows how vulnerability gets exploited, not just overtly, but subtly, too. Like her telling him he was more mature than other guys his age.
Flattery as manipulation.
Precisely. It isolates him, makes him feel special, but it's a classic grooming tactic.
When he finally broke things off with his 39-year-old boss, things escalated fast.
Yeah, the reaction was immediate, pretty frightening.
She sent him abusive texts, called him an immature loser, attacked his masculinity.
Horrible stuff.
And then it turned physical. She ambushed him multiple times near his dorm.
Stalking, basically.
For a 19-year-old, first relationship, that kind of aggression, that mask-off moment you mentioned, must have been terrifying and incredibly confusing.
Oh, absolutely disorienting.
Yeah.
And that mask-off phenomenon is so common in abusive dynamics.
Right. Charming when they get their way.
Exactly. They seem fine, maybe even wonderful when they're in control.
Right.
But the second they lose that control or face rejection, the real self emerges, and it can be unhinged.
The comments called it stalking and harassment.
And rightly so. It shows that age is no barrier to being a predator, and neither is gender. The sheer audacity of harassing him publicly like that also reveals this deep-seated entitlement and self-centeredness. Her desires trumped everything, even basic decency or the law.
Despite everything, the manipulation, the harassment, his inexperience, he did cut ties.
He found the strength, yeah.
And it sounds like the online community really helped him see things clearly.
That external validation seems key.
So that shift from being confused and maybe even blaming himself to getting clarity.
Yeah.
How vital was that outside perspective?
Absolutely vital, I'd say. This deep dive really shows that clarity can come even from really difficult, manipulative situations, especially when you get that outside support and validation.
It confirms you're not crazy.
Exactly. It reinforces that crucial lesson. Big age gaps, especially involving a teenager, plus a power imbalance like employer-employee. Huge red flags, often signals grooming.
Learning to spot those patterns is key.
Crucial, especially after an experience like that. It helps build a foundation for recognizing healthier dynamics in the future.
The community basically gave him the objective lens he couldn't possibly have on his own in that situation. Okay, moving on to the next story. This one is maybe the most tangled and, frankly, disturbing of the lot.
Okay, bracing myself.
We're talking about a 30-year-old mother. She has 5 kids already, and she finds out her 15-year-old son, let's call him Ollie, got his girlfriend, Bree, pregnant. Which is tough enough, right?
Yeah, for everyone involved.
But then it comes out he did it on purpose.
A 15-year-old on purpose. Why?
Apparently, it was Bree's idea. Started as some kind of messed up joke, but then it became a real plan. The goal was to get pregnant so Ollie would feel obligated, maybe even be forced to move, to be with her.
That is deeply manipulative.
Yeah.
And involves trapping a minor. Wow. What happened next? Family drama, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Huge drama. Bree's parents immediately cut off all communication with Ollie's parents, started accusing them of being terrible parents, and they were apparently really empowering Bree, kind of validating this whole plan.
Well, Ollie's parents are probably freaking out.
Totally. Ollie's dad apparently had the line of the story telling his son, "You have the intelligence of a pear."
Huh. Sometimes harsh honesty is needed. So how did Ollie's parents handle this incredibly difficult situation?
Really strategically, actually. First, they insisted on a DNA test before any big decisions were made, said they'd even pay the $1,500 for it.
Smart move. Essential, really.
They absolutely refused to uproot their family and move. And they set clear boundaries for Ollie, but focused more on natural consequences rather than just grounding him forever. They recognized he was in emotional distress and facing huge social fallout already.
It sounds like a balanced approach. Consequences, but also support.
Yeah. Then came the twist, the real breakthrough. It came from, of all places, an online comment. A radiographer chimed in on the forum where the mom was sharing her story.
A radiographer, what did they say?
They advised the mother to get hold of the ultrasound scans and check the measurements very carefully.
Ah, interesting, like check the dating.
Exactly. So the family managed to get a video of Bree's 20-week scan. Now, Bree had told them it was a 16-week scan video.
Good, discrepancy number one.
But the video itself, it clearly showed the baby measuring 19 weeks. And even better, the doctor on the video explicitly states the due date, August 26th.
Okay, that's concrete information.
So the mom thinks, August 26th due date. When was Ollie last actually physically with Bree? She checks the dates. It was January 4th.
So, quick calculation. Conception needed for an August 26th due date would be around early December, late November.
Way before January 4th. Like, scientifically impossible for Ollie to be the father based on when they were last together. She wasn't even in the state with him when conception must have happened.
Boom. There it is. He's not the father.
Not the father. The whole thing was a scheme. A lie.
Just incredible. The lengths some people will go to. What could possibly be the motivation? I mean, beyond trapping him, were they thinking financial support? Maybe.
People in the comments definitely speculated about that. Trying to secure child support, maybe leveraging the situation somehow. We don't know for sure, but it was clearly a calculated deception by Bree and possibly her family.
And poor Ollie. I mean, he made a monumentally stupid decision, yes, but the fallout. The source said he lost everything.
Yeah, his confidence, his reputation at school. He lost Bree, obviously, which, good riddance, but still, lost a lot of friends. All over a baby that wasn't even his. Devastating for a 15-year-old.
Absolutely. How did his parents handle that part? Knowing he wasn't the dad, but had still participated in the initial plan.
They focused on therapy for him, helping him process the manipulation, the betrayal, the public shame, and they stuck to the natural consequences idea. The loss of trust meant he lost freedoms, which is a real-world lesson. They also consulted a family lawyer right away, just in case Bree's family tried to pursue child support despite the evidence, protecting him legally, too.
Really smart parenting in an impossible situation. Their logical, calm approach probably saved him from a much worse fate.
Definitely.
And this story, gosh, it really shines a light on just how important objective proof like DNA testing can be, especially when minors are involved and there's potential for paternity fraud or serious manipulation. It's not just about blame. It's about establishing the truth against emotional blackmail or pressure. It's a safeguard.
A really necessary safeguard in some cases. Okay, so from embracing an unconventional family structure, we now need to pivot again to a relationship where the foundation just completely crumbles, just falls apart due to fundamental imbalances and, frankly, a shocking lack of partnership.
Okay, this sounds tough.
Yeah. The story features a wife. She's working these demanding 12-hour night shifts in healthcare.
Ruling work.
Totally. She's the primary breadwinner. And on top of that, she's struggling with chronic health issues, multiple surgeries.
Wow, she's dealing with a lot.
A lot. Meanwhile, her husband, unemployed for over a year, apparently lying about even applying for jobs. He just plays video games all day.
Oh, boy.
And does absolutely zero chores, nothing. Leaves her to manage literally everything.
After working 12-hour night shifts and dealing with health problems?
Correct.
Okay. This raises a key question, doesn't it? What happens when one partner seems to be weaponizing incompetence?
Explain that term.
It's when someone pretends they can't do things, or they do them so badly that the other person just gives up and does it themselves.
Right. Feigning inability to avoid responsibility.
Exactly. It effectively forces the partner to pick up all the slack. And the wife in this story, she said she felt like her husband's mother.
Yeah, I bet.
She pictured if they had kids, she'd just be a married single mother.
Ooh, that's a bleak outlook.
And it gets worse. He was apparently pressuring her for sex, complaining about his mental health needs.
While she's recovering from surgery.
While she's recovering from medical procedures, yes.
Wow. The lack of empathy there is stunning. So what was the bottom line? Did anything change?
Well, when she pushed back hard enough, He did eventually get a job.
Okay, some did.
But the core issues, the imbalance, the lack of effort, the lack of partnership, they remained.
So the job was just superficial.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then, after her 4th surgery, the real breaking point finally arrived.
Okay, what happened?
They were having a conversation about how unhappy they both were. And the husband, just with incredible audacity,
Yeah.
suggested an open marriage.
What?
Yep. Said he'd found online support groups for it, and he wanted his needs met.
His needs. After contributing basically nothing and while she's recovering physically.
And wait, there's more. He even proposed getting a surrogate with someone from his new open life.
Okay, no, that's beyond audacious. That's just cruel and self-absorbed.
Right. So what happened next? Well, it reframed everything for her.
I would imagine so.
The wife realized that suggestion just killed any lingering feelings she might have had, any hope.
Understandably.
So she asked him to move out.
Good for her. How did he react?
Surprisingly, he didn't seem surprised. Like, maybe he expected it or even wanted it.
Interesting.
Later, his mother called the wife, expressing worry, suggesting couples counseling.
After he refused earlier.
Exactly. And the wife calmly told her, I asked him for that for a year, and he refused.
Setting the record straight.
Yeah. And she put it really powerfully. She said she loved who he was, maybe the person she thought he was, or who he used to be, but she was just too full of hurt to feel love for the person he had become.
That's a really important distinction, loving the memory versus the reality.
Absolutely. And then the real revelation came after he moved out.
What was that? The house felt empty, sure, and she missed his presence, the routine maybe.
Yeah, the absence of another body in the house.
Right, but she realized she didn't actually miss him.
Wow. That's subtle, but profound. The presence versus the person.
Totally. And then, just to add insult to injury, he had the gall to text her asking for her grandmother's engagement ring back.
Are you serious?
Claiming it was his because he was the one who proposed with it.
Oh, come on. That's just petty and entitled after everything.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. So, connecting this to the bigger picture, this story is just such a stark illustration of a relationship completely breaking down.
Total failure of partnership.
Complete lack of reciprocal effort, respect, partnership, everything you need. But the wife's journey, her strength in prioritizing herself, drawing those firm boundaries, even when it's incredibly painful.
Yeah, it takes immense courage.
It really does. And it shows that sometimes those really hard decisions, walking away, they lead to the truest kind of freedom, a rediscovery of your own self-worth. She shared a poem later, apparently, called, I Will Never Love the Same After You. And it just beautifully captures that feeling of transformation after leaving something so damaging. You're changed, but maybe stronger.
Yeah, changed, maybe wounded, but ultimately freer and more self-aware.
Powerful. Very.
All right, moving on to the next story. Picture this. You've got a 26-year-old woman, her boyfriend's 29, they both appear white, right? And they're over the moon, welcoming their first baby. Then the baby arrives, and she has dark skin, very curly hair, looks, well, distinctly black.
Wow.
Now, there is some family history. The mother mentions her great-great-grandfather was black, and she says some other relatives have features like kinky hair, darker skin, sort of black-looking facial characteristics, she puts it. But she and her own mother don't have those traits.
Right, so it's distant, but it's there in the background.
Exactly.
And the immediate aftermath, I mean, it sounds like it was explosive. The boyfriend was furious, was immediately accused her of cheating.
Yeah.
Stormed out of the hospital, moved his stuff out of their place, and demanded a paternity test. Just like that.
Which must have been a total shock for her. She described their relationship before this as, sweet and rational, said she'd never, ever giving him a reason to doubt her.
Absolutely devastating.
So the turning point was her agreeing to the paternity test. And it wasn't just about saving the relationship, actually. People online were advising her, look, you need this for child support, too, which she hadn't even considered in all the chaos.
Practical advice, yeah.
And the results came back, and, well, of course, the baby was his. No question.
And this is where it gets really, really complicated. The reason for his extreme reaction. It wasn't just the baby's appearance that triggered it.
Oh.
It came out that his mother, well, she apparently had some really deep-seated racist views. And she hated the girlfriend for a long time. believed, and this is a quote, "Poor people cheat because they're raised in a fucked up environment."
Oh, wow. That's harsh.
Yeah, and she'd apparently been dripping this poison in his ear the whole pregnancy, planting doubts about the paternity. So when the baby was born looking black, it was like confirmation bias on steroids. It seemed to prove everything his mother had been saying, just shattered his reality and, well, his trust in his partner.
God, that's awful. So his mother's bias completely warped his perception.
Totally. It shows how powerful that kind of external toxic influence can be, right?
So what happened after the test proved him wrong?
Well, apparently he was just full of remorse. Showed up, crying his eyes out, held the baby for the first time, and they both just kind of cried together. He agreed straight away to go to therapy, promised he'd answer her calls, her messages, and importantly, he agreed he had to set boundaries with his mother, like serious ones. Demanded she apologize in person to his partner before she could even see the baby.
Okay, so taking steps, that's something.
It is. But there's another layer here, something the mother mentioned herself in the source material that's, well, a bit concerning.
What's that?
She apparently expressed this hope that the baby's new hair will grow in blonde, saying that would make her even cuter.
Oh.
Yeah. And that little comment, it really points towards internalized biases, colorism, which is basically prejudice against dark skin tones, often within the same racial group.
Even though she herself has black ancestry.
Exactly. Even with that history and clearly loving her child, that subtle preference crept in. And it's just a stark reminder of how those kinds of unconscious biases can really affect a child growing up, affect their self-image, something all parents probably need to be mindful of.
That's a really important point. And this whole story, it apparently kicked off a huge discussion online. Lots of comments about genetics just being wild.
Oh, yeah.
People sharing stories like white parents having a baby with totally different features because of some ancestor way back, or biracial twins where one looks completely white and the other looks completely black.
Yeah, that happens. It's amazing.
And how much baby features can change. Someone mentioned a friend, white passing biracial woman, white husband. Their baby looked like Mexican or Latina at birth, then her features lightened up later.
It really does challenge our assumptions, doesn't it? And the source material even makes the point scientifically that race is largely a social construct. It's society and history shaping categories, not strict biology.
Right.
Which is why genetics don't always fit neatly into the boxes we create. And you get these surprising, sometimes difficult results when diverse heritage comes forward like this.
Moving on to the next story. This one's from an original poster, an OOP, a woman who realized she didn't want to marry her boyfriend anymore. It seems the first maybe inkling was when he said marriage was a noose around the neck. Bit of a statement, that.
Yeah, not exactly romantic.
No. But what really started things unraveling was him constantly seeking out other women online and hiding it.
Even after she told him explicitly she saw that as cheating?
Exactly. She drew a line and he kept crossing it. And what makes the story so poignant is her vulnerability. She talks about feeling like she ruined her body for him,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, struggling with her self-esteem, just wanting to feel like she was enough for him. How much does that self-worth piece play into these early boundary issues?
It's absolutely crucial. I mean, low self-esteem can make you overlook or even rationalize things that are pretty blatant signs of disrespect.
Like the online stuff.
Exactly. The source shows she set a clear boundary about those online interactions. He ignored it repeatedly. That right there, it's not just about different views on cheating. It's a fundamental lack of respect.
And incompatibility, really.
Totally. It screams incompatibility and disrespect for her clearly stated needs way before things blew up completely. It shows how those early signs are often there, but, well, hard to face when your security feels wrapped up in someone else.
The OOP who felt numb from the repeated boundary violations.
Emotional exhaustion.
Yeah. That numbness eventually pushed her to leave. But here's where it gets, frankly, mind-boggling. After she left, he's begging her to come back. And he actually says, get this. I'm sorry, it's just hitting me that we have a son.
Wait, how old was the son?
Almost 3.
3 years old and it's just hitting him? Oh my goodness.
Right. And then, almost as staggering, he willingly gave up 100% custody. Just like that.
Wow. That level of detachment is profound.
How do you even process that kind of disengagement from fatherhood?
That quote, it's just hitting me after 3 years. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? It really brings up that whole question. What's a good dad versus just an involved dad?
Is there a difference?
Huge difference. The comments in the source material really slammed the societal low bar for fathers. It's clear that just, being physically present isn't nearly enough. You need genuine connection, real responsibility.
And her realization was so important, too.
Oh, absolutely. When she realized, by me staying, I'm a bad role model as well. That love is tolerating disrespect and accepting less than the bare minimum. That's huge.
That's her prioritizing her son's understanding of healthy relationships.
Exactly. It's a massive shift towards self-respect and understanding that staying would actually teach her son the wrong lessons about love.
Okay, let's look at the aftermath and the paths forward. She really focused on herself.
A journey of self-love, as the source puts it.
Yeah. Exercise, diet, making art, quality time with her son. And she consciously worked on her fear of solo parenting.
That's a big hurdle.
Huge. And she said something powerful. I love him enough to put my fears of solo parenting aside.
That's such a strong statement. It's reframing sacrifice, not as giving up something for the relationship, but as overcoming fear for her child and herself.
Right. It's a shift. But solo parenting is scary.
Yeah.
Did the community offer insights on how she actually managed that shift? Beyond just deciding to.
The sources don't go deep into the how, but her story is a powerful example of resilience, and the power of prioritizing yourself.
True.
It shows that real love sometimes means walking away, not staying for the kids in a toxic environment, but leaving for the kids to model what healthy boundaries and self-worth actually look like.
So her happiness becomes part of providing a stable environment.
Exactly. Personal well-being isn't selfish. It's fundamental to good parenting. And doubtless, the online support she got helped empower that shift too.
Okay, let's pivot now. This next story is, honestly, quite shocking. Financial betrayal.
Yeah, this one's intense.
It's an OOP, a father this time. He finds out his wife, who is a stay-at-home mother, committed felony credit card fraud.
And not just any fraud.
No, she stole $30,000 from his own mother.
Oof, that's rough.
Can you imagine? He says, cops showed up at my door with a warrant. Just like that.
Instant shattering of trust.
Completely. Led to immediate divorce, him receiving full custody of their two young sons, just 5 and 3. What does that kind of immediate collapse tell us, especially with family and finances tangled up?
Well, it's a stark illustration of how fast that foundation of trust can just disintegrate, especially when the deceit hits on multiple levels: partner, family, significant money, and, the law. Felony fraud isn't minor. And her initial justification, that it was for the kids, that itself raises huge red flags.
Oh, absolutely.
It points towards rationalization, maybe self-deception, often linked to addictive or compulsive stuff. Shopping, gambling, could be anything, as people speculated online. It's that classic justification for behavior that's just not okay.
The father dealing with the aftermath of the fraud. His ex-wife's behavior didn't stop after the divorce, did it?
No, unfortunately not. It continued to be quite alarming.
She was trying to manipulate him, guilt-trip him into moving back.
And then she violated her probation.
Right. Traveled to his new location for Christmas without permission, which, is illegal given her situation.
And the mystery of the $30,000 still kind of hangs there. Was it a shopping addiction? Gambling? Romance scam? We don't know for sure.
So what does this ongoing problematic behavior, even post-divorce, post-probation, tell us?
Well, it really highlights how persistent these issues can be, especially if the underlying problems, addiction, impulse control, maybe personality stuff, aren't being addressed at all.
She wasn't taking responsibility.
Not at all. Her inability to accept consequences, blaming the father, breaking the law again, it points to something deeper, like some commenters suggested, possibly borderline traits, unstable relationships, impulsivity, emotional swings.
It certainly makes his decision seem even more necessary.
Absolutely. It just underscores why he had to prioritize the kid's safety and stability above everything else, above her demands.
He made a massive change.
A truly monumental decision.
Moved states away. Doubled his salary, got access to on-site childcare, better schools, therapy for himself and the boys.
And a fresh start.
Yeah.
Away from the judgment.
Yeah, away from a community where his kids were apparently being ostracized because of their mother's crime, which had become public knowledge.
That's a really important factor.
But he didn't just cut off contact, right? He kept facilitating supervised visits with the mom.
While maintaining firm boundaries, yes. which shows incredible strength and focus on the kid's needs amidst his own trauma.
What do you think was the deeper motivation for such a drastic move beyond just money or schools?
I think it shows incredible foresight. He recognized the long-term emotional damage that community stigma could inflict on his sons. It wasn't just about providing materially. It was about actively shielding their emotional health.
Protecting their future sense of self?
Precisely. It's a shift from just being a provider to being a true protector and nurturer. And, it also kind of subtly busts that myth that fathers never get custody.
Right. Sometimes they don't want it. Or sometimes, like here, the court sees one parent is clearly the safer, more committed choice.
Exactly. The narrative often overlooks the fathers who step up massively, or the situations where custody decisions reflect severe issues with the other parent.
This next deep dive involves a 30-year-old woman, happily married to a guy, 31, she calls a gem.
Sounds good so far.
But his childhood best friend, a woman named Claire, has always been cold to the wife. Subtly hostile,
The problematic best friend. A classic trope for a reason.
Right. Claire would literally talk around the wife like she wasn't there. Skipped every invitation, birthdays, dinners, even their wedding. The only time she'd reach out to the husband was when she'd just been dumped and needed someone to talk to.
Okay. Yeah, red flags waving there. How did the wife feel about it? And the husband?
Well, the wife felt conflicted. It bothered her, but the husband tended to just dismiss it. He'd say Claire was just a little odd socially.
Minimizing it.
Yeah. And interestingly, the wife mentioned she grew up in an emotionally abusive home. She said it made her kind of freeze up and downplay subtle aggression. She doubted her own judgment about Claire's behavior.
That makes sense. Past trauma can absolutely affect how you perceive and react to things in the present. Makes it harder to trust your gut when someone's subtly undermining you.
So here's the twist. Claire, who's a photography major, suddenly asks the wife to model for her final project.
Really? After all that coldness?
Exactly. The wife thought, okay, maybe this is an olive branch, a chance to finally connect. So she agreed.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. She goes to the photo shoot, which is at Claire's parents' fancy home studio. And it's not just Claire there. Her entire family is present. And the wife described it as stepping into a passive-aggressive twilight zone.
Oh, no. What happened?
Public humiliation, basically. Claire's family kept calling the husband our son-in-law. They made jokes about him being the one that got away.
Are you serious? In front of the wife?
Right in front of her. They said things like, we always thought Claire would end up with him, but life has its detours, I guess. And even, it's sweet of her, the wife, to fill in, though.
That is unbelievably cruel. And Claire, what did she do?
Nothing. Just stood there, smiling, taking pictures, completely complicit. Her silence was essentially participation in the whole thing.
Wow. Just wow. And the husband, he was there too.
He was there, clearly uncomfortable, apparently, fidgeting, trying to change the subject, but he didn't say anything during the event. Afterwards, he just acknowledged it was weird.
Weird? That's an understatement. He didn't defend his wife.
Not in the moment, no. Which obviously didn't sit well.
I can imagine. So what finally pushed things? Because weird doesn't sound like enough.
It wasn't. The real catalyst came later. The wife's sister-in-law, Madeline, sent her a screen recording from Claire's close friend's story on social media.
Oh, what was on it?
In the background of the video, you could clearly hear Claire's sister saying Claire should have been the one to marry him.
Oh, concrete proof, undeniable.
Exactly. No more dismissing it as odd or misinterpreting things. It was right there.
So what did the wife do with that?
She was, understandably, pissed, as she put it. She went to her husband and laid it out. It's either me or her. An ultimatum.
Good for her. Sometimes you have to draw that line.
And the husband, faced with that video evidence, finally got it. He called Claire.
What did he say?
He told her he was ashamed, he hadn't acted sooner, hadn't shut down the disrespect earlier, and he made it clear. Disrespecting his wife is disrespecting him. There's no separating the two.
That's the right stance. Finally. How did Claire react?
She literally laughed. Laughed.
Yeah, and asked, wow, you're really cutting me off over that girl.
Unbelievable. Just confirmed everything, didn't it?
Pretty much, and that prompted the husband to deliver the final word. He told her, if choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her.
Boom. Mic drop.
Exactly. It highlights just how crucial it is for the partner being targeted to see that firm boundary set. And sometimes, yeah, you have to cut toxic people out completely to protect your relationship and your own peace.
So, the ending.
Also described as non-dramatic. Claire and her whole family got blocked. And the wife said the silence from them was the best thing she ever gave me. She also mentioned feeling more self-trust, more grounded after speaking up. And the husband, he's apparently really stepped up, checking in, listening, understanding. A real shift.
That's a positive outcome from a really awful situation. We're now turning to a story that really challenges our ideas about what family and love can even look like.
Right. A different kind of complexity.
Totally different. So this next person, a wife, finds her world just completely turned upside down. Her husband, who's a doctor, moves his severely disabled adult siblings into their home.
Oh, okay.
Without consulting her first.
Ooh, that's a big move to make unilaterally.
Huge. And these siblings, they're in their early 20s, but mentally they're more like 12 or 13-year-olds.
Okay.
They need 147 care because they suffered extreme neglect and abuse from their birth parents.
Oh, that's awful. So a really difficult situation. How did the wife react?
Well, understandably, she was initially devastated. She felt like her own future plans, maybe having a biological child, were just thrown away. Poof.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a massive, unasked for life change.
Yeah.
But why this sudden move? Why then?
That's the thing. The initial post she made apparently left out some critical details.
Context matters.
Always. It came out later that the siblings' previous care team had actually engaged in criminal mistreatment.
Oh my goodness. So it was an emergency situation.
Exactly. The husband, who had been their legal guardian since he was 18.
Wow, since he was barely an adult himself.
Yeah, and basically their caretakers since birth, he had to act fast. It was an emergency. And it understandably re-triggered a lot of his own trauma around their past.
Okay, that adds a whole different layer. So emergency action born out of trauma and responsibility.
Yeah.
Still, the lack of communication.
Right. And then the perspective shifted again. The husband, despite his, let's say, thoughtless communication in the moment, he did apologize, but he was also brutally blunt with her.
Oh, what did he say?
He told her he loved his siblings more than he loved her.
Whoa. Okay, that's direct.
And that they were his absolute top priority, period.
That's a shocking thing to hear from your spouse. How did she even process that?
It was a massive shock. But then, reflecting on it with her counselor, she had this profound realization.
What was that?
She realized she had essentially married a man who already had children, in a sense.
Functionally, yeah. With that level of responsibility.
Right. And she admitted she had maybe ignored or just misinterpreted things he told her before they got married about how deep his parental responsibility for them really was.
That's some serious self-reflection.
What?
Acknowledging her own part in maybe not fully grasping the situation beforehand.
Yeah. And what's truly fascinating is how her own perception then underwent this radical transformation over time.
How so?
Well, she admitted she was initially kind of a fence sitter about having kids anyway. She said she was openly looking for purpose in her life.
Thanks.
And then over about 2 years, as she started actually engaging with the siblings, you know, sitting with them at breakfast, doing puzzles, going into the garden with them.
Just daily life stuff.
Yeah, just being present. She began to fall in love with them, as she put it, in a maternal sense.
Wow. So she found a different kind of motherhood.
She completely redefined motherhood for herself.
That's incredible.
Her journey is amazing. She's now like passionately dedicated to disability and child abuse awareness. She even wants to write children's books specifically for them.
So she found her purpose.
She found her purpose, yeah. Just not through the traditional biological path she might have vaguely imagined. It came through this completely unexpected route.
That's a powerful story.
It is. And she's also very transparent about highlighting the privilege of their financial situation.
Right. Her husband being a high-earning doctor.
Exactly. That allows for 247 in-home care, and it allows her to be a stay-at-home wife, essentially. She acknowledges that this financial cushion made it much, much easier for her to adjust and find this calling.
That's a really crucial point to acknowledge. The financial reality.
Yeah. So for someone maybe listening who doesn't have those kinds of resources, how might these lessons about finding purpose and redefining family still apply?
That is a crucial question. While the money absolutely eases the practical burden, no question. The core lesson, I think, is still about adaptability. It's about finding love and purpose in forms you didn't expect.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that family isn't always blood. It isn't always what society dictates. It's about who you choose to care for, who you dedicate yourself to.
The chosen family idea in a unique way.
In a very unique way, yes. This story, when you look at the big picture, powerfully illustrates how much context really matters when we, look at other people's situations.
Yeah.
and how the human spirit can find really profound meaning even in the most unconventional circumstances. Financial resources change the how, but maybe not the potential for finding that meaning.
That's a great way to put it. Our next story really unpacks the weight of those historical echoes. So picture this. You're celebrating your engagement, a magical moment, right?
The best feeling.
Totally. Only for your parents' response to just capsize everything.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, that's what happened to this next person. Her dad made some kind of competitive comment, and her stepmom just flat out declared she wouldn't attend the wedding.
Wow. Why?
Just vague, flimsy excuses.
Okay, that's rough. But what's remarkable here, you said, is how this seemingly minor it's not minor, but
Relatively speaking, yeah.
it triggered this flood of repressed memories.
Exactly. The individual had only recalled living with her dad and stepmom for maybe 6 months as a kid.
Right.
Turns out it was actually 4 to 5 years.
Whoa! It's a huge difference.
Huge! And her stepmom had even apologized years before for being mean, which the individual had just kind of shrugged off at the time, didn't really register.
But now,
boom, years of fear and abuse just came rushing back.
oh wow, like what kind of things?
She remembered name-calling, being the scapegoat, that awful whisper screaming thing.
Ugh, yeah.
Being told not to cry, forced secrets, control over her, like being woken up and yelled at for sleeping on her stomach, just total control.
That's terrifying, especially for a child.
And she remembered her stepmom's sisters telling her, even back then, that the treatment wasn't okay. Her younger sister trying to shield her.
So other people saw it too.
Yes. She even remembered peeing her pants from fear during a public yelling incident, and neighbors offering their house as a safe haven.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And maybe the most chilling part, when she finally moved back with her biological mom, her dad and stepmom took down all her photos and said they would foster another child to fill her place.
Oh my God. That's unbelievably cruel.
Right. So this brings up a really critical point about how trauma affects memory, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Commenters pointed out this sounds a lot like dissociative amnesia, or maybe related to CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Where the brain just buries things to protect itself.
Exactly. It walls off experiences that are too painful to process at the time. Some even speculated, though it's just theory,
Yeah.
whether her childhood allergies were treated with something like Benadryl, maybe partly to sedate her, given its potential side effects on memory. It's a fascinating, but heartbreaking defense mechanism.
So after this huge wave of buried memories comes back, what does she do?
Well, she confronted her dad, first via text, then a call. She was looking for some accountability.
And how did that go?
Not well. Her dad basically doubled down on nothing happened here.
Ugh, denial.
Total denial. He blamed her, saying she, as a 4-year-old, had had it out for the stepmom from the start.
Blaming the victim. Classic.
And then he even said he wished he had just left and started a new family.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So the broader lesson here, I think, is how clearly this fits a classic pattern of abuse and gaslighting. It's often summed up by that thing called the narcissist's prayer,
Remind me.
It goes something like, that didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it.
Chilling.
Yeah.
But it describes that denial and blame shifting perfectly.
It really does.
Yeah.
And while that conversation was incredibly painful for her,
I can only imagine.
it actually gave her a crucial kind of validation. It confirmed that gut feeling she'd always had about why she could never stand up for herself in that family.
So in a strange way, the terrible reaction was confirmation.
Kind of, yeah. Confirmation that her feelings were real, her memories were real, even if they denied it. So she ultimately decided to step back from the relationship,
Understandable.
prioritizing her own healing. Therapy, support groups like ACOA, Adult Children of Alcoholics.
Which helps people impacted by growing up in dysfunctional homes, not just with alcohol.
Exactly. And she had the support of her fiance, which is huge.
Absolutely crucial.
It just shows that sometimes, peace isn't found in forcing reconciliation. Sometimes it's found in recognizing, okay, they sucked when it mattered most, and maybe they seem fine now, but the damage is done.
That phrase, they sucked when it mattered, and now they're good when it doesn't matter. That really hits home.
Yeah, it captures that feeling perfectly.
Okay, so from confronting those deep past shadows, let's shift gears. Our next deep dive looks inside a marriage at something maybe more subtle, but just as damaging.
Okay.
We've got a 31-year-old wife. She's asking for advice about her husband, who's 41.
Okay.
She wants to figure out how to stop him making these mean jokes, as she calls them, especially before they think about having kids.
Mean jokes. That phrasing always sets off alarm bells.
Right. And her dilemma is, she says he's also a great provider, fun dad, generous, supportive. She loves him. But these jokes, they cut deep.
Yeah.
Made her feel like he just didn't respect her.
And did she give examples? Because the specifics are usually revealing.
Oh, yeah. The source had several. Like, he'd tell her, "You're eating like a fat girl," or if she asked how she looked in a new top, he'd just laugh and say it was her bad posture, her unconfident tone.
Ugh. That's not funny. That's just mean.
Exactly. Another time, she'd been cleaning like crazy for days because his mother was visiting, totally stressed out. She opens a cabinet, and he says, "Whoa, you're going to tear the house down."
Wow. Just constant criticism disguised as humor.
Yeah, she said it just chipped away at her self-esteem, made her feel like she was always walking on eggshells.
And I bet she started blaming herself, right?
Totally. She's questioning, am I just too sensitive, too insecure? Felt like maybe she'd messed up by marrying him. She wanted so badly to be the cool, strong, supportive wife, not someone who was like demanding.
That's such a common trap.
And it's maybe worth noting the age gap, too. She was only 21 when they got together. He was 33.
Ah, okay. That age difference, especially when you're young, can create a power imbalance right from the start. It makes it harder to push back sometimes.
Yeah.
And to get deeper than just the jokes. Often that's just the surface level.
It did. The source mentions how he'd flip things back on her. Like, if she got upset, he'd claim he was the one walking on eggshells because her emotions were unpredictable.
Classic manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
Darvo, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender.
Right. And there was sexual disinterest from him, too. He'd even poke fun at her in bed. It got so bad she actually went on birth control, partly just to lower her own sex drive so she wouldn't feel rejected so often.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Just trying to numb the pain.
But the real kicker, the moment of clarity for her, was when he actually admitted that he made those jokes partially on purpose.
On purpose? Why?
Because he was scared she'd find someone better.
Wow. So it wasn't just a bad sense of humor. It was intentional. Undermining her confidence to keep her insecure, to keep her with him. That's emotional abuse, plain and simple.
Yeah. And the final straw, the thing that really broke through her denial, came via her therapist. She actually started therapy thinking she was the problem, right? To fix her emotional regulation and communication.
Mm-hmm. Common starting point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the therapist helped her see his patterns. Manipulative, controlling, and demeaning. And then he made an explicit threat. Something about looking into her eyes when he chokes her to death.
Whoa. Okay, that's terrifying. That crosses a major line.
Absolutely. And that's what finally solidified it for her. No more excuses.
It just shows how vital that outside perspective can be, doesn't it? Having someone objective validate what you're feeling when you've been gaslit for so long.
Definitely. Her realization was profound. She wrote, "I'm not the source of all our relationship troubles. I'm not a complete fuck-up of a wife, and none of this is normal. It's a mindfuck."
That mindfuck feeling is exactly it. Victims get so used to rationalizing, thinking, oh, it's not that bad, or, the classic, at least he doesn't hit me. But emotional abuse is that bad. Therapy, online communities, friends, they can provide that essential reality check, help you trust yourself again.
And how did it end?
The update was described as non-dramatic, which in these situations is often the goal, right? Safety first. She put an exit plan together, saved up money, and she left him.
Good for her.
Yeah. Her story is just such a powerful reminder to pay attention to those jokes, those subtle signs of disrespect. They often point to something much deeper. And finding the courage to leave, that takes incredible strength. Sometimes the quietest exits are the bravest.
Absolutely. Moving on to the next story. Imagine this couple, together 20 years. He's, by all accounts, a genuinely good husband, loving parent.
Sounds good so far?
Right. But there's this one small thing that keeps bothering his wife. His etiquette. Or lack thereof, maybe.
Okay, what kind of etiquette?
Well, he consistently walks way ahead of her, leaves her behind. And when she brings it up, he kind of brushes it off. Does that sound familiar to anyone listening?
Oh, definitely. And it makes you wonder, right? Is it really just bad manners, or is there something, deeper going on?
Well, the wife initially felt dismissed, pretty understandably.
Sure.
But then commenters online, they offered a totally different perspective.
Oh, like what?
They suggested maybe her husband is just totally about the destination, a naturally fast walker, or maybe even has like hard ADHD, which can actually make standing still or slowing down physically uncomfortable for some people.
That's interesting. So shifting the frame from Rude to potentially neurological or just goal-oriented?
Precisely. And here's where it gets really interesting. The pivotal insight came when the wife reframed her request.
So.
Instead of complaining about manners, she talked about things that make me feel loved and considered.
Okay. So focusing on her feeling.
Yes. And it just clicked. For both of them, apparently. She saw it as a classic love languages situation. Understanding how your partner prefers to receive love can change everything.
That's a great point. If we zoom out a bit, it really highlights the surprising power of reframing a complaint as a felt need.
Totally.
It kind of transforms what feels like rudeness into like a tangible expression of care. It makes the solution much more intuitive for the other person, doesn't it?
It does. And the husband, even though he apparently didn't take the initial conversation super well,
Okay.
he showed immediate changed behavior during an overnight trip soon after.
Really? Like what?
Holding doors, walking beside her, even telling their teenage son, hang on, we're going to wait for mom.
Wow. So not a massive overhaul, just small, consistent things.
Exactly. Small, consistent effort. And she met that with verbal thanks and smiles, reinforcing it.
That positive reinforcement is key too.
Absolutely. It makes you think how many of these quote-unquote minor problems in our own relationships could be sorted out, not by accusing, but just by reframing and shifting perspective a bit.
It's a powerful testament to good communication, direct, but empathetic, and that idea that, yeah, often the little things really are the big things.
Yeah, they really are. Okay, so while small shifts can heal minor frictions sometimes relationships demand a much deeper look at the past, a real reckoning.
Some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think all these stories really underscore that relationships aren't just about finding the right person. It's maybe more about a lifelong commitment to deciphering unspoken needs, confronting those uncomfortable truths.
Within yourself, too.
Absolutely. Constantly redefining what family and partnership actually mean for you. It's this continuous journey of self-awareness, knowing your own worth. And that's inseparable from how we navigate our connections with others.
So the question for everyone listening then is, what does this all mean for you? Consider the relationships in your own life.
Yeah. Are there hidden complexities maybe lurking beneath the surface?
Unspoken expectations causing friction. Or maybe areas where a little more honest communication or just a shift in perspective.
Or maybe even a really hard boundary.
Yeah, where that could unlock a totally new path forward. It seems like the biggest deep dive really often starts within yourself.
Couldn't agree more. It always comes back to understanding yourself first.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive today. We hope it gave you plenty to consider.